One time I bought some vending machines, man, when I was living in Miami, and that was a disaster. It was an absolute disaster. I had this concept where they were gonna sell like fruits, and I was gonna put them into, colleges and healthy snack options, and
Right.
I just didn't think it through. Yeah, it was stressful, man.
We can't see the stress.
Yeah, man, we can see the
Just even going back to it right now,
Yeah.
it was painful.
I looked up in the sky and I saw, I think it was a digital big
Blimp.
balloon, the blimp. And I was like, yo, that crazy. I'm gonna say, yo, me have to get one of that. Because I'm gonna say, yo, suppose that is an ECS and 20,000 people looking at that. Where do you get helium from? So I said, okay, maybe Fontana. Fontana don't have that much helium to power a blimp. So we had to get one of those big tanks. I was all right. Yes, I will just launch it up. And then the tank finished. So we had to get one more. And at the time, that's like 8 years ago, probably like 60 grand for a tank. If I remember serving correct. So in one day, I'm spending like $150,000, give or take, just to get the blimp going up.
Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Faded Conversations. In light of how well the last episode we did, where we talked to a few entrepreneurs about the struggles that they incurred in business and what the mental health pressures of that are, we decided to talk to a few more entrepreneurs about what struggles they incurred in their business, some big mistakes that they made that they'll never make again, and some of the things that they've had to overcome personally and professionally in their business. So we talked to Damir from Chill Pops in the Grill and Kareem from ECS in Montego Bay. So let's see what they have to say. Like young entrepreneurs like us, is there any other business that you see now that you have that you look from afar and say, oh, you have a lot of respect for that?
Yeah, man, definitely. Plantation smokehouse, I would say.
Cool.
I'm very respectful.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
What I've seen,
Absolutely.
I watched that journey,
Absolutely.
because right? Something remind me of myself in some ways. You know, him aggressive, him go out there and get it done. Yeah, he.
Yeah, we know, bro.
Yeah, man, he.
Yeah,
the man explained him. Yeah, man, he strategically did everything perfect. I would say, or next to perfect. And as I mentioned him, and I was talking with him too. One of the decisions he made during the pandemic as a strategy was to stay home.
Yeah, just stay home.
Even if nobody not coming, stay home, because
Yeah.
you create this nice brand, you know, it looks good, and then
And I think he opened in February.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
he
opened
opened a week before I think a week or two before the pandemic,
man.
and did a big launch, and then boom, the pandemic. So, like the strategy he had behind that, and then to where it is now, and I know if the place was open, he would probably would have 2 more plantations up by now.
Probably.
But I have to give him hats off to him. Yeah, man.
Cool.
Really
Yeah,
respect him, and even this man right in front
I
of
was
me here,
about to say,
Mr. Chill Pops.
it's a yo.
You know, I've watched his journey from start to finish. From him link me and say, yo, man, I have this concept, and I say, oh, what you talk about? I say, what are you talking about? Like, what do you mean by icy pops with the run? I say, all right, so it's so different, it sounds like it can work, but I couldn't see it.
There we go.
And then I watched this man build out this place, and I say, yo, this place look cute.
Yeah.
And I think everybody would agree with that, with the aesthetics at his location.
Yo,
I don't know if it's the
okay.
biggest, I can't pinpoint what's the biggest driving force in his business, if it's the marketing that him do, or is it actual product, or maybe it's a combination of
pictures
both.
or
It
what?
has to be everything. The product, experience, and obviously, service and experience. It's an experience. But you have a good product and you have a good service.
Yeah.
I think in Jamaica, that's really
that's true.
It's always that's rare.
What I find is that we are very. Oh God, I don't really want to say this about our people, but I usually say that
I know exactly what you're going to say.
in Jamaica you have
far
probably
it
like
is.
6 to 8 months to make it work. And then when the initial hype is there, and you have to reinvent yourself.
Oh my God, you know what?
things.
It's so funny because
And that is
I
something
watched that, and,
yeah.
and in my head I was saying the same thing. I was like, I know that even when you open the new business, you're like, you're going to get that, you're going to get
You have
that.
a window.
Yeah,
You
you
have
have
a
a
window.
window. Yeah, man, you have a window. And if you don't reinvent yourself or do something amazing in that window, people will just
will just
gradually
drop
start to fall off and all those kind of things.
100%.
And the fact that you
100%.
maintain a business, a novelty product like that consistently and grown it is.
Well,
it's
I
something
will
that
say
I
this
value.
much. You see, next week we are reinventing ourselves, and we're doing some more additions to the Negro location. But bro, you know, we had this conversation. You know, you have to do it. You have to do it. It's the only way.
That's good.
It's the only way.
Anybody you seen that you definitely said to yourself?
McDonald's.
McDonald's? McDonald's is the business that you definitely.
Why McDonald's?
Let me hear one.
So you know, prior to Chill Pops, obviously, my brother and I, along with my mom, we had the little restaurant on the beach, and that taught me a lot. And if it taught me anything about systems, automation, and scaling, I would never do a restaurant again. I wouldn't.
Really?
But But what I love about, you know, a McDonald's or a Burger King or these franchises is, you know, you go in, the templates there, the systems are there, and once you get everything running smooth and it's on automatic, you can just scale up. So I look at a company like McDonald's and I think to myself, well, I watch that movie like once every month. Bro. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. It's truly inspirational.
I see the growth.
You know,
It's unreal.
You know, I find that something that a lot of us do. Like we have this one thing that we're just so like it's kind of like a pole that you just kind of stand on sometimes. You just look back at it and you go, okay, yeah, if that guy did it, then I can definitely do this.
Yeah, you know,
there's usually something like that.
It's bonkers. So for me, you know, I haven't watched the story of how Burger King or even Juicy V Patties or, you know, Mothers or whatever the case, Island Grill. But I watching that, and you just think to yourself, you know what? Yeah, man, you can do this.
It's possible.
Is there any regret that you have, or a major mistake that you made in business? Something that you were...
Many.
Hold on. I know we've all made mistakes, bro. I could list 10 mistakes about here, just right where we're standing now.
You're right.
But there's usually at least one or two things that you were so sure was going to work. You were so confident this was going to be the game changer, and as it turned out, either the market wasn't ready for it, and we have a saying in marketing that the market is never wrong. Either you are doing something wrong, if the market is not ready for it, the market is something wrong. Is there anything like that you were sure was going to work that didn't work?
In this current business?
In
general.
In general.
Maybe Nyla's, maybe.
I thought Nyla's was okay. One time I bought some vending machines, man, when I was living in Miami, and that was a disaster. It was an absolute disaster. I had this concept where they were going to sell like fruits, and I was going to put them into, you know, colleges and healthy snack options. And
Right.
I just didn't think it through.
Well, no, you have to tell me a little bit more about that, because, all right, so a vending machine to me is actually a pretty decent business model, right?
Yeah.
Like,
That's what I thought.
especially on
What
colleges
went
and
wrong
everything, like, yeah, it's like, what happened?
I never had a vehicle that I could move these big vending machines with. Number one, they're
Can fit them in the
actually.
Benz.
Honestly, it was just a blip bag.
You can't run a road when they walk.
Yeah, it was stressful, man.
Oh, we can't see the stress.
Yeah, we can see the
Just even going back to it right now,
Yeah.
it was painful. But yeah, I jumped on something because it was a good deal. So I went to like a government website where they were auctioning off these vending machines. And I thought the same thing, passive income, whatever the case, or refill them. Cool, and I'd brand it and everything. And I just didn't think it through. It's when you buy 12 vending machines that are this big and, you know, and they weigh a ton.
Yeah,
you know, storage, moving, getting the accounts, getting the logistics, and it was just
Breaking down and fixing.
even how to use it, and just did not think it through. Did not think it through. I don't know what I was thinking. I was not thinking. That's the worst thing I ever did.
In business now, as you mentioned, and not thinking through, as I may talk about it separately, the calculative decisions is
Yeah,
the
man.
most important
Oh
thing.
God, man.
Because every failure is always linked to the research,
You know.
or the analysis
Of the
or
market.
what, you know, all the groundwork that you're supposed to do prior to launching.
Actually going with it.
You know, it's
But you know what I find that we get caught up with, like as owners of businesses,
Yeah.
sometimes you realize how important speed to market is. So you're balancing
That too, yeah,
being
yeah,
a
yeah.
first mover and being innovative and operating on information,
Yeah.
But then how much you don't want to sit there too long analyzing the
And
numbers
sacrifice
before
after the research,
sacrifice
yeah.
after the research. So like,
Absolutely.
cool. So
Absolutely.
give me the same thing for you
Me,
now.
oh gosh.
Both business or any business. From
I
the
think
jump.
one of the most memorable ones was with ECS in the early days. I remember going to Sumfest. Tell you the backstory for this. I remember going to Sumfest. I think because I don't really go Sumfest on it. When I went to Sumfest and I just started ECS, and I looked up in the sky and I saw things like digital, big
Blimp.
balloon, the blimp. And I was like, yo, that crazy. I'm gonna say, yo, me have to get one of that. Because I'm gonna say, yo, suppose that is an ECS and 20,000 people looking at that. Everybody had to see it. So you know what? I started my research on a blimp.
Bro, he
And
called
when
me
I
and said
started
this same
ECS,
thing.
I found a blimp. And I said, all right, I'm gonna buy a blimp. Just imagine I'm in the middle of a party and you see a big balloon floating across saying ECS.
Can imagine it, man.
So I went ahead, spent a lot of money, bought that, right? Got it done quick because I say, I think a party was coming up and I say, I have to launch it for that event, no matter what it's going up. So yeah, did my decals, put on my sticker brand it, and then okay,
put
time
light
to go.
in it.
Put lights, yes. So I say, you know, we have to light it up and things. So, and remember, this is something 200 feet in the air. You light it up. How the hell that work? We never think about probably solar or battery thing. We actually ran a cable from the ground with lights in it into the blimp. And then now, to get the blimp up was the biggest mistake that we never did a research on. Because to float that in the air is maybe I thought it was electric or something, I don't know, but
helium.
It was actually helium.
Right.
And where do you get helium from? So I said, okay, maybe Fontana don't have that much helium to power a blimp. So we had to get one of those big tanks. I was all right, yes, I will just launch it up. And then the tank finished. So we had to get one more. And at the time, that's like 8 years ago, probably like 60 grand for a tank. If memory serves me correct. So in one day, I'm spending like $150,000, give or take, just to get the blimp going up. And then when the blimp go up now, I say, yeah. And because the card in it, the blimp start lean, and before it was a complete disaster. Before the night end, the blimp, all over the place. And then the idea was like, wow, what have we done here? But for what it's worth,
That's an amazing story. That's an amazing story.
The first 5 minutes it stayed in the air, it was good.
But no,
it was good.
Yo,
it was good. I got a good picture of it, so yeah, it makes sense. But after that, field investment. And I never do that again without doing the proper
research. Right.
I probably would still go back into it, but something far-fetched.
Definitely not the same way you did it before.
No.
Like and this is something that I always say, and I use this in business and I use it in life. You never make the same mistake twice.
True.
Never make the same mistake twice. If you genuinely turn around and try to convince yourself that fine, there was something, like if it failed, there must have been something wrong. And a lot of people try to project it onto other people and say, no, it was you that did this and you that did that. But at the end of the day, the decision rests with you.
Absolutely. As a business owner,
you need to know to own your mistakes and say, all right, fine, cool, this never worked. It never worked because of this. Shelf this idea because and I was saying it just the other day as well. Some ideas are not bad ideas. It's not the right time, or like I say, you didn't do enough research.
Something you mentioned as well is the fact that nobody sees going back to the planning stages before you got plug off the ground. I'll confess that Chill Pop didn't just open like that. Exactly. There was about 12 months of sitting down at home, doing the branding, getting the digital rendition of how the shop is going to look, the exact measurements. Let's just run out to go get the vending machines this time. No. 1 year, 12 months. And then we execute.
As you mentioned, that's the only thing I'm grateful for the pandemic for, because the pandemic gave me the time to actually sit down and put pen to paper and actually work on the plug for 6 months straight.
100%.
Core work.
Right.
100%.
And that 6 months of dedicated work, I think it may make a lifetime of difference, because I've literally calculated out, I thought out almost all the eventualities that can come up and have a solution for most of them. So right now we plug anything that we encounter on the ground, maybe adaptability, maybe something with the platform, maybe something with an affiliate or participating in business. I can guarantee you most likely we have a solution or a direction in which to go in. And that's why I said, going back to planning, research, analysis, calculative risk is one of the most fundamental things for any business person. And
then perspective again, like you said, this has actually been a good thing in the sense that you've been able to strategically sit down and plan. I'm happy, I'm happy that when I opened up, I said, I'm going to open in the grill because at least if I, encounter these problems, I'm on home ground, I can go through it, and I want as many problems to happen as quickly as possible so I can overcome and find the solution for them. And mind you, I've encountered a lot of problems from the machines breaking to supply chains and this and that. And I'm grateful that it happened during a time where it's slower, so I've had the time to fix and figure out things as well.
And what I'm just saying is key, where when you just open up, you want to find all the problems. That is key.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because in my company, even at ECS, both of them, right? My staff don't like issues.
No.
Like if a customer complains about something or something going wrong, they take it personal or whatever the case. For me, as an owner, that's what I want to hear. Every time something goes wrong, I try my best to find out what it is and dig very deep because that's how you navigate, that's how you pivot, that's how you learn.
That's how you learn.
You have to listen to the market.
Yep,
And the quicker you learn that, and the quicker you make the adjustments,
Absolutely.
you've ruled out almost all the negative eventualities.
Yeah.
And you can progress.
And exactly, and it's about your mindset as to how you approach it. Because you said you use this time to think about all the eventualities and all those things, but the fact is, it's impossible to think about all of them. Right? So when another one comes up, you didn't thought you're like, all right, cool. This is another one, cool. How can we fix this problem? And I mean, that's my mentality about this business. I mean, I've already said this to you and probably like a few other close friends. Like I want to one in Miami and New York, UK, but I want to get this one right because if I get this one right,
100%.
then
100%.
I'd want to make all the mistakes here in my home ground where I know I can call a you or a Lincoln or a Mark and say, yo, bro, I need this and this done, I need this and this fixed, all of those kind of things, and make sure so the foundation is right. We know already. The foundation is strong.
Oh gosh.
Then
you
try to
can't
scale
grow
up and then crumble.
crumble. Scaling is a different level.
I'll give you a joke. I know you asked about going back to the vending machines, but this is probably one of the scenarios that you didn't want to happen when you start a business. Dream weekend's coming up. You know, say Negro Dream Weekend, everybody gets to eat. And
the girl come to take picture and everything.
I always made the joke that you know everything's gonna break. It's an eventuality. You have to service things. You know things are gonna go wrong. And the machine that makes the products broke 1 week before Dream Weekend.
Wow.
And I was there like, yeah man, I knew this was gonna happen. Just didn't think it was gonna happen right now. You know, and I was like, whatever. Going back to just being a tad bit nonchalant, even though you're super annoyed, but what can you do? And then it's not like I can call China and just be like, yo, send me down the path that I need to fix everything. So, you know what I mean? So, you know, I had to get the engineer to come in, the technician, and you know, 3 compressors later, how much gas, how much money was spent. And by the end of it, and obviously I missed Dream Weekend and had nothing in the showcase cabinet as well, on top of that. Yeah, man, so horrible. And trust me. And by the end of it, I told my mom and my uncle, I was like, yeah, but you know, I learned a lot about how the whole mechanics of this machine work and everything else. So now moving forward, you know, it was costly, but at least when that happens again, because it's going to happen again. And I know why it happened as well. So ordering the next machine for scaling up, I know what to order and how to order it correctly. Another thing that nobody told me, I ordered the wrong machine on the wrong cycle. It's something to do with electrics, but it wasn't designed for Jamaica. It works in America, so the machine is one basically. Terrible.
I know, say this happened to you countless times anyway. When you only I was
going to say, the machine won't break, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
I think we can agree there's no right time for it to happen, but then there are a few extremely wrong times.
That was the wrong time.
I think I remember, I don't know if it's Sumfest or it was a big thing coming up, where I have like 3 machines, and if all my 3 machines are running, like that means you're doing big business. So there's a time where that was that, like everything's supposed to be running, and I don't remember what happened. I think 2 of them went down same time. I'm like, what? And at the time, you know, you're never really that versed with the technical side of it. So I remember I had to jump on a flight. Because I'm saying, I have to fix this and come back. So I went to America, got a part, came back, and that's when I learned about everything. But I said, no matter what, this job I have to do.
Exactly.
And went into the technicalities of it, and looking back at business, I realized, that part of business is very important. If you're running a business and you don't know the ins and outs, the nitty-gritty of every component, every moving part, you know what I mean? That will break it down in minutes.
Absolutely.
Everything can be going perfectly fine, and the moment you go, and then your response time to that is key. I mean, in the printing business, imagine, I think I called you February 2nd. Valentine's Day is a big time for us, bro. And the printer died. The printer just stopped printing, and we could not figure out how. This man, I pick up the phone and call for everything with the machine, because he has probably gone through it already, and that's a big thing as well. They are friends in business. Call their phone. Don't hesitate to call their phone, because more than likely they have some advice to give you. Bro, you sit down there in trying to agree that this problem cannot be fixed. Can this be fixed? Do I need to get a new one, and then decide that very quickly? That is, in my opinion, one of the very, very key things that a lot of business owners have to focus on, because you will spend so much time trying to fix a problem that you have to weigh the time value between fixing it and just going in a completely different direction.
And then your business model, like you said a while ago, when you mentioned the restaurant, the reason I didn't like the restaurant is going back to exactly what you said about you have to be able to know the ins and outs of your business. If your chef turns around to you and says, you know what, boss, I'm done, you know, I can't go in the kitchen and start cook up everything, but I can tell you one thing about my business currently. There's no member of staff, maybe my accountant, that, and even then, that I cannot do their job.
True.
I think that is very important.
Yeah, man.
And that's something I like about this new business model that
Like
I'm
you
in
can
right now.
literally,
If I need to make the product, if I need to
Exactly.
market, if I need to sell, if I need to fix the shop, the machines now,
Any component.
pretty much for the most part.
And when that affects you the most is when you try to scale too.
Yes.
So when you try to scale and automate the process and put other people in charge, if you don't know what their function or job role is supposed to be, how you going to manage it?
Exactly.
So you have to be first hand with everything.
Exactly. You have to know what their deliverables are and say, oh, okay, cool. How long does it actually take you to do this? If they can turn around and tell you 4 hours to take something that takes an hour to do, how would you really know if it makes sense or not?
Right.
Yeah, and that is one of the things that I know is make or break for a lot of people.
In all honesty, there's been quite a few businesses that friends have come to me about and looked at where the market was pre-COVID and during COVID, and realized that it had so much potential. Problem was their dedication to investing into the time that was required. Because one thing in business is when you're working for someone, it's a 9 to 5, that's fine. But when you become an entrepreneur, it now becomes a 24/7 shift. So most persons won't have that level of dedication to wake up first in the morning, check their budget or check their numbers or check their inventory or do what is required before they even go on social media. Do what is required throughout the day. Do what is required when it becomes time for in the evening to not link up with friends or family. So there have been so many businesses. Even recently, a friend of mine started an assistant company where he offers assistance, personal assistance to different entrepreneurs or to companies. And what was required was proper time management, scheduling, everything. But the person felt as if they should have been given a schedule to just follow through. And it failed. But when you look at it on a level of coming from a corporate level or coming from an entrepreneurial level, if you have a personal assistant that you can WhatsApp and they handle your time management, it makes your operation completely smoother. So one of the hardest decisions I've ever faced. Currently my mother handles a business by the name of KER Marketplace. And with how the industry is operating, I'm giving her certain sales support, certain marketing support, especially from my experience within the company that I work for. And one of the most difficult decisions is the fact that her products have to be, she has to increase her price on a weekly or bi-weekly basis based on what's going on with the industry. And it puts her in a position where having new customers, they question the entire setup of her business. If they are being robbed, if she's being too greedy. So that thin line of communication comes into play, where when she's advertising, she has to also advertise what's going on within the market without saying, this is KER. So I will see certain things on a social media post talking about the price of grain or what's going on with pork, the shortage of pork. And I will pass on that information to her so she can use Imagen to create a graphic that promotes, with what's going on currently with COVID, the price of grain is going up by 12% every month. You cannot balance it. So at the same time, you're providing knowledge to your clients, to your customers, which is what is needed.